The O Cannabis Conference and Expo returns to Toronto June 1st through the 3rd, and there's still some good booth locations available. This exciting event is free for cannabis retailers and will feature Tommy Chong receiving a Lifetime Achievement Award at the O Cannabis Industry Awards. For more information about exhibiting or to register to attend, go to ocannabis.com. That's OCANNABIZ.com. Today we're going to take a look at the difference between the Canadian retail sales and how much was sold in the top U.S. states. But we're going to start off looking at Canadian cannabis retail prices declining, leading by vapes and concentrates, all coming up.
It's only entertainment.
Welcome back to The Talking Hedge. I'm Josh Kincaid, capital markets analyst and host of your Cannabis Business Podcast.
So sales in Canada declined according to mjbizdaily, not only in the U.S., Canada, U.S. also declined. So they're getting their numbers from Headset. We've reported on those every month. And since I think, was it the last 4 months of the year, everything declined. January kind of popped. I may have been an anomaly. We'll find out next month. But in retail sales, at least in Canada, right across the board, entire prices went down. And in the US, at least, wholesale prices went down too. So we did a report on that as well. So not only did the Canadian prices decline across the entire country, but across the entire product category as well during the full year. So even though essential business and a lockdown, everything was reduced. So there's still relatively high prices and some product shortages, but it looks like it's still just too high. There needs to be some price compression still in the industry. I know that's what holds me back. If you're an everyday user, you're not going to go out and spend a couple $100 on an ounce. Ultimately, what these guys got to do is improve their efficiency and lower their costs. Stop writing off money and building huge greenhouses and selling it for nothing. Looking at some of the biggest declines that Canada did see, vape pens, concentrates. I find it interesting when I go into the store, and I've been to thousands of stores and hundreds of grows, and I find it interesting still that bud tenders, number one, like almost 100% of the time, like flower. I think concentrates are maybe a regional thing. Like Portland loves their concentrates, and there's this segment like, sneakerheads, or the guys who wear pins in their hats, or like whatever it is. Like there's people who just love it. Vape pens are a thing for convenience, but it just doesn't really give you the same effect. And people are just going back to flower. So out of convenience, maybe they'll do vape pens, concentrates. I'm starting to wonder if that's really, really niche, rather than I thought it was going to kind of take off and become its own category and segment. And I'm starting to wonder. I'm still kind of flexing or adjusting on my opinions on that one. So price of flower, just kind of put this into perspective, of Canada is like $5.40. It's not bad. Edibles, they're 72 cents Canadian per milligram. So multiply that by 100. That's still fairly low. So you're going to pay double that in the US, like $15 or something for 100 milligram. So pre-rolls, they're going to be, whoa, that's expensive. Like, damn, $8 to $10 for a pre-roll. Whew. I mean, if it's a gram of Hank's hash joint, like, phew, sign me up. But like, nah. On average, people are only spending $17 to $18 the average package. Wow. So, I mean, people up here are spending like way more on average, or average item size, or average package is, $30, $40 on the low side. That's Washington and Oregon. We're all about like convenience and going when we want. But other places that have delivery fees of $65, that draws that price way up. So California is like hovering just over $60 on average because the delivery people are really driving it up. Whereas lately, a lot of people going in the stores buying less and drawing that price down because the average item price was like over $65 for a long time. And then you started to see that come way, way down. So there's some retail price wars. Maybe there's too many stores. I don't know if it's like Hamilton in Ontario where there's a couple hundred medical stores. I don't think it's like that anymore. But value bud, like I said, when people they want to consume something that's good. Like the Budweiser is not. Microbrews are. I don't know. Maybe I'm in a bubble. People want something that's good, and I realize there's a lot of people who just want what they can afford, and it's good enough. But I don't know if cannabis is going to translate like that. I think people really want something that's higher quality, and they're willing to pay for it. And I think this article brings up Apple Store experience, and I don't think that Canada needs all this packaging to have that, but they do need to have something that's going to draw people to come back. And whether it's cannabis or an iPad or a restaurant, it's the experience that draws people to keep coming back. I also saw some market share loss from some of the big names. Tilray, I think, went from double digits down to about 6 to 8%. Canopies in single digits. They might even be down to like 2 or 3%. Or is that Aurora? Whatever. They've all lost a ton of market share, some of these big companies. So I think that's indicative of people wanting something different and going to get that elsewhere and increasing some of these smaller brands' market shares. But let's take a look at the difference between Canadian retail and US and kind of how much and what people are buying. So looking at Toronto, 51 million, that was up 3.7% for the year. 25 million for Montreal. Alberta, 20 million that's Edmonton's. BC had 16 million. And then let's see, Quebec City, 5.5. Let's compare that to see what some of the counterparts over in the US. Some of the top states over there are Arizona, Michigan, newer states. So of course it's going to be skewed. Can't even compare that to like an older existing market. In Arizona, they have 1.2 billion sold in the first 11 months. And then of medical, they got 73 million in medical. So in October, they had 58 million alone. And then November surpassed 60 million for the first time. When you look at Michigan, they've got stupid numbers too. Medical sales fell almost a fifth down to under 33 million because everyone's going to rec, which increased 66% year over year to 168 million. Flower still in Michigan, 56% overall want flower. I think in Arizona, a more conservative market, you're going to see pre-rolls sell less, vape pens sell more. Flower is probably still going to be dominant. But all in all, I think people are really pulling back, and I don't think it has anything to do with the pandemic easing or otherwise. I think it has everything to do with inflationary pressure and how much people are having to spend on everyday things. And so they're really having to cut back or cut out cannabis products. Heavier users, I don't think they're cutting back because they're going outside. And that's one of Headset's theories. And maybe they're partly right. I'm still thinking that this is more about inflation and just the cost of goods everywhere and people kind of really having to pull back on their spending. But let me know what you think in the comments.
With that, we're going to roll this one up. I'm Josh Kincaid. This is The Talking Hedge. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, or don't, and I'm out. Don't forget to smash that like button on your way out and check out these other videos that we've got.